In a viral clip, after she made a foul play, Griner appears to mouth something rather controversial. It might be, though we don't know, trash and possibly white girl. Griner herself hasn't commented. Now, why is that? If you were being accused of making racist statements, I think you'd want to clear that up quickly. You'd race to the cameras and put out a statement on X to say, I said whack call. I didn't say effing white girl.
If you thought the WNBA couldn't get any wilder, think again. Brittney Griner just set off a firestorm that instantly hijacked the sports world. This wasn't some heated exchange lost in a crowd or a cryptic tweet. This was pure, unfiltered chaos, broadcast live, in the middle of a packed arena with every camera rolling and thousands of eyes glued to the action. Griner let slip a comment about Caitlin Clark that stopped everyone in their tracks. In that moment, basketball became background noise, as every sports feed and news alert zeroed in on Griner's words. Nobody saw it coming, but nobody could ignore it either.
Brittney Griner appeared to call Caitlin Clark trash and effing white girl.
By the next commercial break, the internet was already melting down. Fans went from stunned silence to open revolt, flooding the league with demands for immediate discipline. Some called for suspensions, others wanted apologies, and a few went digging into Griner's past, hoping to expose more controversy. Sports talk radio ran wild, turning what should have been a simple post-game recap into an emergency town hall. With every passing hour, the temperature rose, not just for Griner, but for a league now forced under the harshest spotlight it's faced all year.
Brittney Griner is, in fact, a man.
Meanwhile, Clark's fans were done playing nice. No more polite cheers, just a digital tidal wave hammering every official WNBA post with demands for justice and support. So, if you're with her, drop a "Justice for Caitlin" in the comments. Let the league know. We see what's happening and we won't stay silent.
Don't hate the player, hate the game she got, because she's really talented, especially for being Falangi, She's like the Stephen Curry of WNBA with the threes and stuff. Like, proven fact is, like, they had a game on June 7th scheduled. It was going to be Ada Reese's team, which plays in Chicago. And then for Caitlin Clark's team, they were supposed to go up there playing Chicago on June 7th. First, the ticket sales were at $76 a ticket. Then after they found out Caitlin Clark's not playing that game, she got injured, sales dropped to $25 a ticket.
All season, tension had been simmering just beneath the surface, but Griner managed to blow the lid off with one explosive moment. As the final buzzer sounded, cameras stayed locked on her, catching not just frustration, but a string of words that would echo louder than any game-winning shot. There was no mistaking it. The look on her face, the phrase on her lips, and the stunned reaction from everyone courtside painted a picture that was impossible to spin. This was more than just post-game heat. It was a moment that instantly overshadowed every stat, every highlight, every narrative the WNBA had been trying to push.
You'd race to the cameras and put out a statement on X to say, I said whack call. I didn't say effing white girl. But she's not. She's apparently totally comfortable letting those allegations linger. Maybe she's worried that the people on the bench or the people right behind her had a recording going.
The viral video did what viral videos do. It grew bigger than the game itself, bouncing across every social platform with a force that couldn't be contained. Overnight, the incident became a litmus test for the league's values and standards. Even battle-hardened analysts were left shaking their heads, openly wondering how something so raw, so pointed could go unpunished. As the debate raged on, some pointed out the elephant in the room. Had the roles been reversed, the outcome would have been dramatically different, and everyone knew it. Suddenly, this wasn't just about trash talk, it was about the lines that still divide sports and what happens when those lines are crossed on live TV.
Is the WNBA okay with one of its players saying white girl on the bench and getting caught by TV cameras saying such? I guess they are. I guess they're okay with it. Obviously, the league would very much not be okay with a white player saying black girl on the bench in anger and getting caught by TV cameras. That would be an immediate suspension, if not a career ender.
Yet, what truly ignited the outrage wasn't just the slur itself, it was the aftermath. The league's silence roared through fan forums and sports talk shows alike. No press release, no penalty, not even a hint of public accountability. While commentators fumbled through awkward justifications, fans felt their frustration boiling over. The sense of injustice was everywhere. How could a league so quick to police minor infractions let something this blatant slide? For once, everyone, from casual viewers to diehards, guards, was asking the same question. Is there one set of rules for some and another for everyone else?
It is completely possible that fucking white girl was about Caitlin Clark's popularity, about her stature, about her impact on the entire league.
If you've watched a single Fever game this year, you know the pressure on Caitlin Clark isn't just about box scores. She's become a magnet for every hard foul, every cold stare, and every bit of resentment the league can muster. Veterans have made her a moving target, not for her trash talk, she hardly says a word, but simply because she disrupts the status quo. It's like every possession is a dare for someone to take a shot at her, and too many have accepted the challenge. In the end, it's not about playing rough, it's about sending a message that new faces aren't welcome unless they play by the old unspoken rules.
We have shown you videos just getting elbowed, getting crushed, inbound passes where they ram into her, just absolutely abused, and there clearly is a racial element to it.
Griner's latest on-court tirade didn't come out of the blue. If you look at her career, there's a pattern of escalating confrontations, always ramping up when the cameras are rolling and the stakes are high. What made this episode so unsettling was how deliberate it seemed, like she was waiting for the biggest stage to launch her attack. It wasn't just an ugly insult, it was a power play, broadcast for millions to see. And while the league loves to paint itself as progressive and unified, moments like this make it painfully obvious that those values evaporate when uncomfortable truths hit the headlines.
WNBA has come out numerous times. There's no place for hate. There's no place for racism.
Suddenly, the whole narrative shifted. No one was talking about the box score anymore. All eyes were on how the league would respond to Griner's words. Social media turned into a courtroom, fans demanding action and transparency. Why, they asked, does accountability seem to change depending on who crosses the line? The longer the league stayed silent, the louder the backlash grew. It wasn't just about punishing a single player anymore. It was about whether the WNBA would finally enforce its own standards or keep letting its biggest controversies pass by unaddressed.
The league would not be okay with a white player saying effing black girl.
Picture the uproar if Clark had flipped the script. If she'd blurted out a slur with every camera rolling, the media would have exploded. The league office would have scrambled and apologies would rain down before she could even get her warm-ups off. Pundits would have dedicated entire shows to dissecting her character, sponsors would vanish, and the phrase lifetime ban would trend worldwide before breakfast. But when the insult comes from a league veteran, the response is suspiciously subdued. That double standard is exactly why fans are flooding comment sections with demands for real answers, and why trust in the league's integrity is hanging by a thread.
Let's see an investigation into reverse racism that's going on across the league also.
Even sports commentators who normally sit on the fence couldn't look away from this mess. As one radio host put it, if the names were swapped, this would be a national scandal. But for some reason, Griner's words are being brushed off as a slip-up or heat of the moment. Fans see right through it. They're tired of the excuses and hungry for consistency. When the rules change based on the jersey, every controversial call just drives more people away from the game. The league can't afford to act like these moments will simply disappear. They're being replayed, remixed, and debated everywhere you look.
Brittney Griner, who I can't stand, sad that she's a Baylor grad.
Yeah,
she called her a trash, expletive white girl. That was the lip reading. Yes, trash, white girl. Trash, blanking, white girl.
Even as spin doctors rushed in, trying to muddy the details, the truth was already out. Dozens of slow-mo clips and lip readers confirmed what everyone saw. The evidence was so clear that even neutral observers, people who don't care about either team, couldn't pretend nothing happened. Fans felt insulted, not just by the slur, but by the league's refusal to deal with it openly. The message being sent, if you're a star, consequences are optional. If you're not, better watch your back. That's the kind of system that leaves everyone, from players to fans, second-guessing their support.
You are a straight white woman in the WNBA. There is no way that you feel completely safe.
What really stung for a lot of people wasn't just the league's silence. It was the glaring contrast to how they've handled other controversies. Remember when they investigated fans for shouting at Angel Reese based on unverified claims? That process was swift and public, but when a top player crosses a very visible line on live TV, it's crickets. The hypocrisy is impossible to miss. Fans are frustrated, media personalities are calling it out, and the league's own image of fairness is starting to crumble under the weight of all these contradictions.
The noise that's coming.
I don't appreciate the new fans that sit there and yell racial slurs
at myself, my teammates, and the people that I play against. Because yeah, those might be opponents, but those are friends too. You know, they don't deserve that. So I don't appreciate the new fans. I think it's okay to do that.
If you think Clark is new to being targeted, think again. From day one, she's faced a gauntlet of cheap shots, elbows, and bad faith memes. But unlike some of her rivals, she doesn't retaliate. She just keeps playing, letting her game speak. Meanwhile, the taunts and underhanded tactics pile up. Even Angel Reese, a supposed rival, stoked the flames by posting memes mocking Clark and framing her as weak, all while the league says nothing. That kind of double standard isn't just frustrating, it's a sign that real change isn't a priority.
Image that she reposted, and the implication is, well, what it says at the top is white, this is how they say girl, G-Y, white gal, G-Y-A-L, running from the fade, like as if Caitlin Clark is basically
The pressure Clark has absorbed would have broken plenty of rookies. She's been shoved, slapped, and taunted, sometimes all in the same quarter, and yet she never stoops to that level. It's her refusal to bite back, to turn every hard foul into a social media feud that actually makes her stand out. Unfortunately, that restraint is rarely rewarded. Instead, her critics spin her calm as weakness, while her antagonists get applause for their edge. It's a surreal scene. The league's brightest hope treated as an outsider by both opponents and some of her own teammates.
Her health is of the utmost importance, 1, to her and her career, 2, to the WNBA's success, and 3, as the key playmaker for the Indiana Fever.
Here's the ugly truth. Caitlin Clark is held to a higher standard than anyone else in the league. She's expected to eat every insult, take every bump, and do it all with a smile for the cameras. Meanwhile, her rivals face little to no accountability for behavior that would end most players' seasons. It's a set of unwritten rules that penalize success and reward bitterness. Fans are starting to notice, and so are sponsors. You can't grow the game if your best player is constantly in the crosshairs, especially when the league office acts like it's no big deal.
She accused the Indiana Fever fan base of being racist. They investigated it. They said those accusations were false. The least that she could do is apologize to our great state and the fans that show up at these games and say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Obviously, she's not going to do that. But also, Dan, why isn't the Indiana Fever apologizing to their own fan base for putting them through that, for going through those types of accusations?
A new wave of fans found the WNBA because of Clark's stardom, hoping for something fresh and inspiring. What they got was a front row seat to bullying, hostility, and a league seemingly unwilling to enforce its own standards. Disillusionment is spreading fast. Casual viewers who might have become lifelong fans are now asking why a league that talks so much about respect is so comfortable letting these issues slide. The league needs to realize that this isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about trust, fairness, and the future of the sport.
He stated in part, obviously, the league would not be okay with a white player saying effing black girl on the bench in anger.
The big question nobody in the front office wants to address is this: why are some players allowed to push the boundaries while others are told to rise above? Why does a racist comment aimed at Clark get the move along treatment while similar actions would end another player's career? This is the kind of hypocrisy that erodes loyalty and damages the league's reputation. Fans aren't asking for special treatment for anyone. They're demanding that everyone be held to the same standard no matter their status or social media following.
WNBA without Caitlin Clark remains an attraction that not many people want to watch. Without Caitlin Clark,
is going to massively affect the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark is the closest thing that they have to quality play. Caitlin Clark, the Caitlin Clark effect is very real. She is the most valuable player in the league.
Just as fans were reeling from the league's lack of action, a totally different controversy roared back to life. This time, it wasn't about on-court trash talk, but about who's actually allowed to compete. Suddenly, Brittney Griner's past became a trending topic again, not just for her game, but because of persistent viral rumors about her biological identity. Video clips and old posts are being dragged back into the spotlight, and the conversation is no longer just about performance, but about transparency, fairness, and whether the league is even interested in confronting tough questions.
Flag you, Brittney. Let me see something real quick.
Brick!
Thank you. Get the fuck. Get the hell out of here, yo. Yo. Jab stepping, just a brick. Swing and a miss.
Oh!
Yo, I ain't gonna fake it right now.
That this person is not a female. Firstly, because this was actually posted to Brittney's personal Instagram.
Let's be clear, this isn't about conspiracy, it's about public perception and trust. As the rumor mill spins, social media detectives have latched onto every odd detail. Griner's physique, voice, and even a topless video that Instagram's algorithms reportedly flagged as male. The fact that these stories keep resurfacing isn't just a social media thing, it's a reflection of growing concern over whether the league is really committed to equality and honesty. When those questions go unanswered, it's not just players' reputations at risk, it's the legitimacy of the entire competition.
That this person is not a female. Firstly, because this was actually posted to Brittney's personal Instagram. And when it comes to Instagram, they use a combination of like AI detection and plus manual surveyors, but specifically the AI detection to make sure that no explicit content ends up on the platform. So clearly whatever AI detection system was used when Brittney posted this and it stayed up for 106 weeks was not like, oh, this is a bare female chest, we have to take this down. It obviously assumed that Brittney was male.
It isn't just the memes or fan chatter fueling this latest storm. It's the silence from league leadership that has everyone raising their eyebrows. When a star player's social media posts ignite debate about eligibility and the league offers nothing but canned PR, people start connecting their own dots. The narrative goes deeper than any single clip or rumor. Fans are asking why a sport built on fairness and competition seems so allergic to transparency. Each day without an answer just adds fuel to the fire, and you can feel the frustration mounting with every retweet.
Brittney is a weird case. He's a man, yes, that much is obvious, but not in the way that you think. He isn't trans. He's a straight cis male who was raised as a girl and given a girl's name by his parents. His mother is the insane one. She forced him to live as a female right up through high school, filled out all of his paperwork, including BC as female, and kept the charade going.
Conversations have shifted from friendly debate to outright demands for clarity. People want to know, how can we celebrate women's sports if there's even a sliver of doubt about who's actually competing? Supporters of Clark and other female athletes are especially vocal, insisting that integrity must come before inclusivity. Nobody's asking for a witch hunt, but they do want honesty. At the end of the day, every athlete deserves a level playing field, and every fan deserves to know the rules aren't being quietly rewritten behind closed doors.
And then the other quote, Rob, then I'm going to wrap this up and then I'm going to go to Adam. Put the quote of Brittney Griner, what she said about the NBA. This is so funny how all this stuff works out, right? She says, this is from Brittney. Every time we play her, there's this commotion, like this loud rumbling from the stands. Turns out it's people, thousands of them, just sitting there, watching on purpose. It's very disruptive. It's called a freaking game that they pay you money to play. Don't play the game. It's very disruptive. It continues. Brittney Griner voiced frustration in a recent interview, claiming that Caitlin Clark is ruining what used to make the WNBA great. Wait for this.
Empty stands?
Tom, let me just...
Go ahead, I'm so mad.
WNBA games used to be a chill, quiet place. You could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now, it's like there's a large gathering of people watching us from the stands. Some of them are yelling crazy shit about what they're seeing, putting unfair pressure on us to score like we're there for their entertainment, and that's pretty gross.
And as if that weren't enough, the whole situation gets even messier when you remember Griner's past headlines. Her high-profile arrest in Russia and the international drama of a prisoner swap for an infamous arms dealer made global news. That kind of baggage doesn't just fade away, especially when it's paired with new controversies. Fans, players, and media alike are left asking, does star power come with automatic protection? Or are there some lines that even celebrity can't erase? For Clark, it's another reminder that the league's priorities seem stacked against her.
WNBA crew are very fond of virtue signaling, but even when it comes to Brittney's exchange for like the Merchant of Death, which is insane, by the way, but had that been just like a straight white girl, My guess is that straight white girl would probably still be rotting in a Russian prison.
When people see Caitlin Clark, who's given the league a jolt of energy and brought in thousands of new eyes, getting hammered night after night while the institution stays silent, they start to question the whole system. It's not about singling out one player. It's about whether the rules apply to everyone or only to those who don't rock the boat. The debate has spilled over from sports forums into mainstream headlines, with fans demanding to know why the face of women's basketball can't even get a fair call, while controversy seems to roll right off others.
Brittney was male and therefore being topless on the platform was totally fine. It did not constitute as nudity. Now, some people may speculate, okay, well, is Brittney trans?
The stakes couldn't be higher if the WNBA fails to address even the appearance of unfair play, especially when the issue involves something as sensitive as biological eligibility. It risks sparking the biggest sports scandal of the decade. And Clark, she's become the unwilling centerpiece of this drama. She didn't ask for it, she's not the provocateur, but every moment she spends on the court is now shadowed by questions of legitimacy, fairness, and whether the league truly values its future over its favorites.
It just ends their chances, and it diminishes the interest in the WNBA as a whole. If we're like, more than diminishes, is a devastating blow to the interest in the WNBA as a whole, due to the magnetism and the Clark effect. They were saying cautious approach before. Hopefully this is a proactive approach that will allow her to be more active and even more effective later in the year.
Clark's arrival was supposed to mark a new era, fresh faces, explosive play, and packed arenas. Instead, she's found herself dodging elbows, insults, and a wall of institutional indifference. The fans, old and new, aren't blind. They see who gets the protection and who's left exposed. It's a bad look for a league that says it wants to grow, because you can't build a loyal fan base on a foundation of selective justice. At the moment, the player doing the most to lift the league is the same one most in need of the league's protection.
We have seen all over social media fans saying that they didn't want to watch the games if she wasn't going to be there. They weren't going to watch on television. They weren't going to show up at the arena. This is what one fan said. They said, once I found out Caitlin wasn't playing, it didn't make sense for us to fly to Indianapolis. We are Caitlin fans before Fever fans. She's the biggest draw. That's who the girls want to see. That's the whole point of us going to Indy, seeing Caitlin Clark. When she was injured, we thought, let's just postpone until August.
I love watching her score and just everything about her.
They went the extra mile just to watch her play here.
As this controversy keeps snowballing, the WNBA's leadership finds itself at a crossroads. Step up and enforce fairness, or risk alienating the very audience that could propel them into the future. The silence isn't helping. Every unanswered question is a lost opportunity to build trust. So here's the challenge. If you stand with Caitlin Clark, if you believe in equal treatment, player safety, and real accountability, drop a "Justice for Caitlin" in the comments. Because if nothing happens, it won't just be Clark who loses out. The league's credibility and its future are what's really on the line.